So the last thing that we're going to look at here is with quadratics. Quadratics are really, really powerful on Desmos. And the first thing that we're going to use it for is simply to find the solutions. But remember, we have multiple words that mean solutions. Solutions could be X-intercepts, they can be zeros, they can be roots. All four of those words really just mean solutions. So let's say you're asked to solve a quadratic. You would be expected to solve many quadratics without Desmos, but if you have Desmos available and you're going to get some maybe fraction or decimal zeros, then that's when you would use Desmos. So they'll be giving you the quadratic equation, whatever that might be. So let's just make one up here. Let's say negative 3x squared plus 8x and plus 2, right? So when we do that, you can see we're simply typing it in. It automatically graphs your parabola. And when it graphs that parabola, you see lots of different gray points automatically showing up. The ones we're looking for, if we want to find the solutions, if we're looking for the solutions, aka the zeros, the roots, the x-intercepts, then we simply have to click on the two gray dots where they cross the x-intercept, or across the x-axis. So my two solutions here are negative 0.23 and positive 2.897. Those are our solutions. Do not get confused and think that it's 0, 2. Do not get confused by this point up here. Our solutions come from these 2 points here. So it's really important that we're able to find those solutions by graphing. One of the workarounds here is what if our what if our answer choices are not in that form? What if our answer choices down below are not in decimal form? They might be in a radical form. So what that means is that they've used the quadratic formula. And so if you know the quadratic formula, please go ahead and use the quadratic formula. But in this case, our quadratic formula for this would end up being the opposite of b plus or minus. Underneath the square root, we're going to have 8 squared. Go ahead and type it in for us here. So we're going to have a fraction. Opposite of b, so in this case, it's opposite of b is negative 8. Plus or minus, we'll just do the plus for now. And then we have the square root. Square root is down here of, in parentheses, b squared, so b squared minus 4 times your a value, which is negative 3, times your c value. Oops, this is not all in there. I'll have to fix this. Times your c value. Now, all of this should be up in the radical, up in the top of that fraction, all divided by 2 times a. Your a value in this case is negative 3. Okay, but what I wanted to point out, obviously you can see that negative 0.23 is the same as that point right there. So what I wanted to point out though is what you're probably going to see as an answer choice is going to be here. This is going to be the square root of 88. Okay, because you can see that that part underneath is 88. So they're not going to type it in as an answer choice completely one by step. They're going to type it in the most simplified version. So on the bottom here would be negative 6. So what you have to be able to do is you have to be able to look at an answer choice that looks like this and identify that, oh, that decimal negative 0.23 matches that x-intercept where it's crossing the x-axis. And then the same thing, you would find it a second time, except this time it's subtraction. So the 2.89 is that second x-intercept. So be comfortable and be flexible enough to, if your answer choices are in this form, be able to recognize, well, actually, I got the decimals. Which of these in radical form match those decimals? So you can see that you would simply have to type in your answer choices here on the left-hand side down below and match them up to the decimals. If they didn't match, delete them and type in the next one. So that's how we identify our solutions.